100 years ago, H.D. Fowler Company was first established on the principles of taking excellent care of our customers and excellent care of our people. I sometimes wonder if grandfather, H.D., Dad, Doyle, or C.E., my great-grandfather, ever fully imagined how far we would come, how well we would do, and how bright our future would be.
Seattle's population soared in the late 1880s. In March alone, there were 500 buildings under construction. The boom of population brought with it the need for public utilities. The first organized water system in Seattle was built by Spring Hill Water Company, who diverted spring water into a dozen or so wooden tanks along the ridge between First and Beacon Hills, and laid some sizable water mains beneath the business district's principal streets. Fire hydrants were installed on every other street and connected by small-diameter pipe. On June 6, 1889, a cabinet maker was heating glue that boiled over and caught his shop on fire. Locals attempted to douse the fire with water, but it only spread more. Due to the timbers and the unusually dry summer, the blaze erupted. Firefighters tried to thwart the impending flames, but a strong blowing wind from the northeast and low water pressure soon gave way. It was apparent that the current water system could not compete, and by sunset the fire had consumed 116 acres in the heart of the city's business district. The next morning, Mayor Moran called a meeting to solicit opinions on reconstruction. 600 businessmen showed up. It was decided that this may be an opportunity for extensive municipal improvements, including widened and regraded streets, and municipal waterworks. In 2 years since the fire, downtown had transformed itself at an amazing rate. In 1897, gold was discovered in the Yukon Territory of Canada. This provided the capital for a number of entrepreneurs, including John W. Nordstrom and George H. Bartel, to start their businesses. Attracted also to Seattle was Charles Evan Fowler, a well-known engineer who designed over 50 railway bridges and wrote many books on engineering subjects. In 1900, C.E., as he was known, brought with him his wife Lucille and children, Robert, Louise, Margaret, and Harold Doyle Fowler. Other notable events happened around this time period as well. The arrival of the first automobile in Seattle, Pike Street Market opened, and the Boeing Company began building and selling planes. In the same year the Fowler family arrived, the University of Washington established a crew program. With 2 lakes adjoining the new campus, the university had a perfect environment for a program like this. Students and businessmen helped build a boathouse on Lake Washington. It was completed in 1900, and class races were held in the spring of 1901. Rowing became one of the most popular Husky sports and an integral part of the Fowler legacy. In 1909, C.E.'s son Harold Doyle Fowler, who went by H.D., enrolled in UW's College of Engineering. There was no doubt his father's success, a blossoming environment, and a thirst for knowledge compelled H.D. to want to put his mark on Seattle. After the first year of school, Thomas William Seacrest, a friend of C.E.'s, invited H.D. to join him on a surveying job for the government railroad in Alaska. With the excitement of making his own mark, bunking with good friends, and being away from home, H.D. put his school on hold and left for Alaska. The crew slept in tents and traveled to some of the most rural areas, surveying their land for railroad placement. With his engineering knowledge and dedication, H.D. proved to be a great addition to the team. Returning home, H.D. enrolled back in school at UW. During this time period, the threat of the typhoid fever pushed Seattle and surrounding cities to begin looking for better and safer sources of water. Power struggles between railroad companies, private utilities, and shipping firms put halts to construction on the city water system, including Seattle's already approved Cedar River Water Project. Private companies were installing their own systems to address the needs of the growing population. It was discovered that a sewer trench on First Avenue had been installed running uphill. This required a massive regrade. The city of Seattle began in earnest to reshape the landscape, and many local civil engineers joined efforts and vision. For an example, at its steepest point today, Yesler Way has a 15% grade. When the pioneers first showed up, it was a 49% grade. They leveled and widened streets, filled in tidelands, and reconstructed the water and sewer lines in the city. Little did HD know that the new proposal of water sources in Seattle would catapult him into building one of the leading supply companies in the Pacific Northwest. In 1910, the City Council of Tacoma passed an ordinance proposing to the voters that a new gravity water supply be installed. The point of entry was to be taken from Green River, some 30 miles east of the city. Among many of the contractors bidding was a proposal from the International Contract Company, which was owned and operated by C.E. Fowler. The Fowler's proposal was accepted by the city as the lowest bid, and construction went underway in 1911. The beginnings of the H.D. Fowler Company was established when H.D. joined his father and began working on the tunnels, concrete impoundment dam, and initial water line. H.D. was in charge of the compressor plant for operating the rock drills on the tunnel work. He was the only one among 150 on the job that was able to repair gasoline engines and other pieces of machinery. Their work spanned a year and cost $221,004. After working on the Tacoma Headworks water supply, H.D. began developing his own business. For several years, he was in charge of the sales and structural department of the Vulcan Iron Works plant in Seattle. In 1914, there was so much war work to do that H.D. was not able to join his mates who enlisted in World War I.
What a marvelous age we live
in. In 1920, H.D. Fowler, R.J. Church, and E.I. Flatbow branched off from Vulcan Iron Workers and formed their own engineering firms. The trio rented an office space in the newly constructed Smith Tower. H.D. named the firm Fowler Engineering. Fowler Engineering negotiated with a number of sales agencies, including Pittsburgh Des Moines Steel Company for structural steelwork, cast iron pipe, cranes, and several other allied lines in steel and iron. In 1930, H.D. moved his firm to the Pioneer Building and changed the business name to H.D. Fowler Company. Later that year, Seattle was hit with the stock market crash of the Great Depression. In 1934, state unemployment hit 26%, and thousands lost their homes. But H.D. wasn't going to let the effects of the Depression sink his business. Through his course of working with many Seattle contractors, H.D. became friends with Charles L. Smith, who was elected mayor March 6, 1934. Knowing H.D.'s drive and experience in the waterworks industry, the mayor appointed him as superintendent of the city's water supply. H.D.'s advance to work for the city opened the doors to more business opportunities for the H.D. Fowler Company, and it survived the Depression years. In 1939, H.D. moved the company to its first building in Seattle. The two-story building was built on a slope, making the first floor office space and the basement the warehouse. Among water meters and small fittings, the fire hydrants were kept indoors. Shortly after moving into the Seattle building, H.D.'s son Doyle joined the company and began attending the University of Washington. Doyle became a member of UW rowing crew and met Tom Taylor. They developed a friendship that would last a lifetime. During Doyle and Tom's years at UW, the school was greatly affected by World War II. Students and faculty joined the armed forces after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in December 1941. Graduation ceremonies were pushed months ahead of schedule so young men could receive their diplomas and be sent overseas. It wasn't long until Doyle Fowler and Tom Taylor decided to move from UW's Navy to Uncle Sam's. For the next 3 years, these two best friends would undergo the highs and lows of war. Doyle and Tom received their wings and returned from World War II in 1945. Joining HD at the HD Fowler Company, also that year Max Campbell was made partner and headed the process department. In 1947, with the steady growth of the company, it was decided to incorporate. 10 years later, H.D. Fowler retires and his son Doyle becomes the company's second president. Between 1957 and 1960, the plans for Seattle's Interstate 5 gave Doyle the opportunity to relocate. With the construction of the Evergreen Point floating bridge, Doyle and Tom knew the freeway would connect Seattle to Bellevue and bring new prospects for the company. So in 1962, the H.D. Fowler Company moved to its present location in Bellevue. The new spacious building and yard gave H.D. Fowler Company the ability to expand. In the years to follow, the employee count for the company increased. Doyle's children, Dale, Hod, and Jay, jumped on board in the 70s, and in 1981 the company grew enough that its second branch was built in Olympia. Then, 3 years later, in 1984, the company expanded into Oregon with its Clackamas branch. In 1986, Doyle Fowler retired, and his son Hod Fowler became the third president. From this time on, the company escalated forward. Hod organized the exec team. Fabrication and mechanical divisions were created, and new branches opened.
Wow, what a story. What an adventure, what a success. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.